I was hoping that we'd do another Mission Impossible, having been in 3 and Ghost Protocol. And so I was delighted to hear that. I kind of knew it would happen because Ghost Protocol was such a barnstormer. And I know Tom is very, uh, keen on this story. It's obviously been in his life for a long time. And so, yeah, to get the call that we were doing another one was very exciting. And yeah, you just wait for the script to see if you die or not. Benji in 3 was a bit of a sort of, lab schlub. He was kind of on the computers. And we had this idea that after Ethan gets him to help him at the end of 3, it gave Benji a taste for adventure. And so he enrolled in the field training program and became a field agent. So when we see him in Ghost Protocol, it's maybe his second or third mission. He's a different person really. He's trained, he's got fit, he's taken on new skills. With this one, again, Benji's been out in the field for a while now, so he's a little bit more mature, he's a little bit more experienced, but he's no less Benji. Benji's always has this sort of wild, wide-eyed kind of appreciation of what he does and the world he moves around in. But he's also a serious proposition now. He's still a field agent, and he's a good one, albeit in limbo because the IMF has been sort of suspended. Well, at the end of Ghost Protocol, it felt like a new beginning for the IMF. The guys had been out in the cold and they managed to save the world, literally, and we all went off on our various missions. Here, with this one, it seems things have changed rapidly, and the IMF has sort of become obsolete in a way. It's been severely questioned by the CIA, and because of the sort of deep cover nature of its operations, it appears to certain parties to be a bit of a white elephant, and so it's been shut down. So from the end of Ghost Protocol, which is this great sort of call to arms, you have myself, Benji is stuck behind a desk, Brant is back being an analyst. It's kind of all gone to hell, really, and Ethan's out there on his own, on this crusade, seemingly obsessed. So it's gone downhill quite quickly, but it's nice because it gives us somewhere to go. I've always thought Benji is kind of Ethan's biggest fan. He's a bit of a, he idolized him a bit when he used to come into the lab. It's like, oh, here comes Ethan Hunt, he's the cool guy kind of thing. And then he got to go on a mission with him, and they've become friends. They were always friends, I think. He knew him as this, the guy he could take his broken computers to, and then he knew him as a fellow agent. And now they've been through some stuff together. They have a little camaraderie and genuine peril that they've experienced together. And so, Benji has extraordinary respect and affection for Ethan. He looks up to him and he trusts him above everyone else. Tom is everywhere at all times. He's kind of, he's such a multitasker anyway. He's very happy multitasking. His instincts are all incredibly precise, and not only is he being an actor, having to remember his lines, but his head is in every other facet of the production at all times. And it's amazing to watch him kind of spot little bits and pieces around that that he wants to change or thinks this should be this way. And it's an incredible position of control to be in. It means that you have complete dominion over your sort of art form, which is great. My experience with Tom is quite similar to Benji and Ethan, really. It's fun. I really like Tom. He's a lot of fun, and he's an incredibly hard worker. He has an amazing focus, a peerless dedication to what he does, which kind of raises everyone's game on set. But he's also a lot of fun, and it doesn't take a lot to get him sort of messing around, and he can be extremely silly as well, which, when there's time to do it, he will gladly do. So we have a lot of fun, and we try and keep things as light as possible. We had an absolute hoot in Morocco in that car, during that car chase. We were in it for days and days on end, and we ended up having a sort of war in terms of who could sneak the other one's seat heater on without the other one seeing, which in a country which is in the high 30s, it gets a little annoying at times when you suddenly feel really hot. Why am I sweating? And then you realize that Tom Cruise has turned on your seat heater. I think that's one of the really key things about this movie series, is that it has the most eclectic kind of group of directors. This has been a really interesting mix of creative minds that have come together to make these films. And as a result, each one has a very specific individual style. They don't ever feel like retreads. They're always new. With Chris, I've had great fun. You know, he's such a personable guy. He loves movies. We are constantly geeking out about stuff on set. We have our little private jokes that nerds will often have with each other, and they laugh like that when they make a joke that no one else understands. But he's got a lovely eye for, you know, for cinema, and he really relishes the writing process as well. He's a genius writer, so it's been really exciting to work with someone whose focus has been as much on the kind of mechanics of the story as on the way that the film looks. Rebecca has been amazing. We immediately bonded over our sort of fitness regimes and our diets, which we've been on gladly and willingly to stay fit for this job, which is extremely physically demanding. She works so hard, Rebecca, and she's such fun to be around. She's got that brilliant Scandinavian pragmatism and a very dry British sense of humor. She's a brilliant actress, and I really love her. I think she's great. I hope she becomes part of the team. Great to see the boys back. Me and Renner always have fun. We had a great time on Ghost Protocol. He's a he's a good boy. We have a laugh. Ving, obviously, Ving is the only person in the Mission Impossible lore, other than Tom, of course, who's been in it since the beginning. You know, he's a real veteran. I think I'm next in terms of having survived 3. Ving survived them all, so it's, you know, he's really part of this story, and it's great to see him back in it. He briefly appeared in Ghost Protocol, and he's back for this. And Ving is just, you know, he's as cool as they come. No one wears a hat like Ving Rhames, for reals. He's the best. At the center of it all, you've got Tom Cruise, who is a movie star in the truest sense of the word, and people do love him and they love his movies. He's also been smart enough to keep this series evolving, so every film has been different, and there are characters in it that you have got to know and got to care about, but at the same time, you know you're going to see them in not just an reiteration of what you've seen before. You're going to see them in a new situation, and I'm not just talking about Tom's hair, which changes every film, and rightly so. I think mine does as well. It's just an enduring story. It's spies and intrigue and chases. It's kind of America's James Bond, and you know, we all know how long that one's been going on. Morocco was amazing. Just the setting looked beautiful. I've never driven around such narrow alleys so fast in my life. I hope I never will again. But the people were so excited that Tom was there. We had scenes of utter chaos in Marrakesh and Casablanca, where the streets were just full of people all chanting Tom's name. Vienna was beautiful. I'd never been to Austria, and well, I hadn't been to that part of Austria, it's a lovely city. I really enjoyed staying there. I got to walk around a little bit, and just shooting in the Opera House, having the access that we did to the Vienna Opera House was extraordinary, because we got to see some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, as well as, you know, have our own private viewing of this incredible building and this incredible architecture and art. The A400 sequence is very much the essence of mine and Tom's relationship in this film, in that Tom, or in these films completely, Tom was strapped to the wing of the airplane. I was lying in the grass in a furry green suit. That, for me, is pretty much sums up our roles. Benji is kind of like on the ground on his computer looking stupid, while Ethan is looking heroic and cool. It was pretty insane to watch that happen. I remember being up on the Burj Khalifa in Ghost Protocol and watching him do that stunt, and then being in the plane, seeing him doing this stunt, and it was like a level on. You know, that with the Burj Khalifa, he was high up, but he was still attached to the ground. This, he was even higher, and he wasn't attached. He was on a plane, and it was kind of mind blowing and ridiculous. I don't know what he's going to do next. Go into space, probably.